It's been a hard-working week for the city of Philadelphia as they post a record of 9-6-2 since the last episode. Most of the wins coming from the Phillies, as you would expect. 4 of them, in fact. The Flyers have a 2-2 record from the last week. So do the Sixers. The Fusion picked up a win, and the Union, I should say, picked up the loss. But there's so much more to talk about today, so sit down, relax, and enjoy the ride here on The Orange Line.
Wake up, Philadelphia, and let me hear you sing.
Fly, Eagles, fly, on the road to make a rain. He had high hopes. He had high hopes.
Clap your hands, everybody, for Philadelphia, 76ers.
All right, so like I said, this is The Orange Line, episode 16, the one and only 8 for 8 Philadelphia sports podcast in all of Philadelphia. That's going to be my claim to fame here. But welcome back. It is Thursday, March 7th, I believe. So that's pretty awesome. Like I said, lots to talk about. So why not just jump right into it with the Philadelphia Phillies? Like I said, they were able to pick up 4 wins, lost only once and tied twice, which you will only see in the spring training. But I think it should go to say that that's a pretty good sign. I mean, at least it shows that the jobbers that we have on our team are at least pretty decent. So that's pretty good. But in all honesty, it's just making me more and more excited for the season. I mean, Aaron Nola is coming. I did order that jersey after all. We have Rhys Hoskins, who it's going to be great to see him back. And, of course, we have our newest addition, Bryce Harper, rocking number 3. Love the guy. What a class act. Saying that he's going to wear number 3 instead of 34 because of, to honor Roy Halladay, which is, it's so great. So already feeling that brotherly love, man. I'm so excited for this season. Speaking of him, he's going to have his first at-bats coming up on Saturday. He's going to be the designated hitter in that game, which should be real exciting, considering the fact that, I mean, we've seen him have some at-bats in some simulated games. We've seen him, just swing a bat pretty much, but we haven't seen him in game yet in actual pitching situations. So it's gonna be pretty good to see what he can do for this team, and these first at bats coming up on Saturday against the Blue Jays should be pretty interesting to watch. Once again, Phillies have a full week, as is usual for a baseball team. Had 2 games today against the Yankees and Tigers, in which they won against the Detroit Tigers 3-1, but lost against the Yankees 6-0. But for the rest of the week, we still have the Braves on Friday, the Blue Jays Saturday. Sunday is going to be the Orioles. Monday is the Tampa Bay Devil Rays. Yes, I still call them the Devil Rays. Shout out to Steve Irwin. And then Wednesday, we have the Yankees once again. So hopefully we can take them down this time. But yeah, pretty excited for the season. I tried to get season tickets. I mean, not season tickets, the spring tickets. But that didn't go well. But there was the day game pass or the weekday pass or whatever, and that was sold out. And obviously, the home opener is sold out. big discrepancy in ticket prices too. If you check, I believe the last time I saw, StubHub had home opener tickets that were in a section I had no idea existed for $110. That was the cheapest ticket on the market. And then looking to the very next game, the tickets were about $21. So I think people are a little excited for this home opener to see Bryce Harper's first regular season at bats for the Phillies against the Braves. So a little bit of NL East play to start off the season, which is going to be great. And still staying on the topic of Bryce Harper, he has gotten into a little bit of trouble with the Angels, I believe. Either the Angels or the Angels complained so much that the MLB is saying something to him. But it's pretty much on the grounds that, like, why is this dude going out and talking about recruiting players to the team that he literally just joined? They're a little annoyed at it, but I mean, people can just say things. It's all talk for now. I'll wait and see if Mike Trout actually comes here, which I really hope he does. I love having Philadelphia people on my Philadelphia teams. So Trout, it'd be really cool to see you. Stick around. We got a great city here. Bryce Harper's here. That's pretty cool. Joel Embiid. Who is still out for the 76ers. They had a game last night against the Chicago Bulls in a heartbreaker, a 108-107 loss. I don't know who it was on the Bulls, and I should do my research. But I don't know who it was on the Bulls. But the last play of the game, they had about 5 seconds with the ball, inbounds the pass, and whoever it was just drives up the lane. He just drives straight up the middle, and easy to put them up by 1. And I've admitted that I don't know basketball as well as I probably should. And I've been learning, I've been trying. But even without any previous knowledge of basketball, looking at that as a sports play, I go, what the hell is wrong with that defense? There's no way that should happen. 5 seconds left in a game when you're up by 1. Up by 1 thanks to Jimmy Butler making 2 very, very good free throws to go up 107-106 at that point in the game. And, I mean, it ends up getting ruined because of just poor defense on part of the Sixers. And after the shot was made, they had 0.5 seconds to inbound the pass and get a shot off, which is next to nothing. So it's real upsetting to see a loss like that. I mean, the Sixers are without 2 big stars in Joel Embiid and Boban. But, like, come on, guys. It's something that I would expect from a team, say, like the Flyers, where they've been struggling throughout the season. They haven't had, the best defensive, but, like, the Sixers are a good team. I mean, they're without 2 of their big stars. I've said that before. I literally just said it. But they're still playing well. I mean, they beat OKC and the Orlando Magic, who have been doing well. Recently they're still. I believe I saw that they were 30 and something. I don't know. They didn't have a winning record. And if I'm wrong about that, sorry. I don't care about their record. I care about Philadelphia's record. And in the last week, they were 50-50, so that's good. I mean, at least we didn't have a losing week. But, like, we easily could have won this game. And, that would have been 2 wins in a row. And it's unfortunate that we didn't. I'm looking forward to getting into the playoffs, getting into the nitty gritty with this team. But realistically, it's so annoying to see stuff like that. Like I said, I expect stuff like that from a team that like may have had their struggles or something. I don't know. Um, but anyway, for the week coming up, we have the Rockets on Friday, the Pacers on Sunday. Shout out to my buddy Sam Fritz, big Pacers fan. And then we have LeBron's old team, Cleveland Cavaliers. The latter two games are at home. Um, I think the Pacers will be a good bearing on how this team is. I know that the Pacers are doing fairly well from talking with my buddy. So I think it's going to be a good idea of where this team actually stands, because if we play teams that are better than us, it's kind of to be expected that they might not perform quite as well. But at the same time, I mean, we did beat OKC. We didn't lose by much to the Golden State Warriors. We only lost by 3, 120 to 117. But yeah, I think there's so much room for this team to grow, and I think I really think it's getting down to crunch time. These guys gotta get ready for playoffs. They had a taste of that, atmosphere last year, making it into the second round. So realistically, I think that these guys should do better, and I expect better of them. So let's do this, Sixers. And with all that, I mean, I mentioned the Flyers being fairly poor defensively, but honestly, they haven't of late. They've done pretty well. In the past week, they also split 2-2, but they had an overtime loss, so they at least walked away with 1 point. I should have remembered that when I did my official, the beginning record thing. It actually changes it to 9-5-3, which in my eyes looks a lot better. The Flyers having a 2-1-1 week, picking up 5 points in their last 4 games, so I think that's pretty good. I mean, I know we're still 7 points out of where this team should be, but I still feel pretty good. I feel confident with this team. Last night was not great. Losing 5-3 to the Capitals, the defending Stanley Cup champions. Boo. I mean, I expected it to be a tough game, but holy cannoli. 5-0. So early on in the game. I just kept looking over, and boom, there was a goal. Boom, there was a goal. Boom, there was a goal. And that made it tough for me to watch the Sixers game, and we just discussed how that game went. So last night was not a good night for Philadelphia. The rest of the week was. I mean, up at that point we were 9-3-3, so that's pretty good. But yeah, this team struggled last night, but they did not look bad in the last week. Like I said, they lost in overtime, and that was to the Columbus Blue Jackets. Then the Jersey Devils was a 6-3 win, which is great. I love beating the Devils, love beating old rivals. And then the Islanders, a team who is doing incredibly well. At that point, they were first in the Metropolitan, and are currently in second, and they're 2 points below Washington, so that's cool. But we beat them, so that's actually even better. good for us. It shows that we're able to at least play against these teams now. Because looking at the team 2 months ago, 2.5 months ago, there's no way. I mean, if you told me that, the Islanders had 83 points, they were posting a 38-21-7 record, and our team beat them 4-1 at their home, yeah, I'd be a little skeptical, but I honestly, like this team's looking good recently, and that's the thing that is most important to me. Um, and Travis Sandheim has been real hot scoring. Philip Myers just had his first goal last night. Shout out to Phil. Does he go by Phil or just Philip Myers? I don't know. That's a question for next time. But yeah, I think if this team really wants to make the playoffs, they're gonna have to absolutely make a push, and they're gonna have to do everything they can against every single opponent. Because like I said, 7 points behind the second wild card spot. We have a mountain to climb, and I think this team can do it. It wouldn't surprise me if they didn't. I'll be real honest about that. But I do think that we can do it. Coming up in the week ahead on Saturday, we have the Islanders again, back in Long Island, on Long Island, in one or the other. They're in New York. And then on Monday we have the Ottawa Senators finally at home. And a little foreshadowing for next week. We are playing the Capitals again. So hopefully we can redo what had happened on Wednesday. Oh, and I did want to mention this in regards to the game yesterday. Like I said, we were down 5-0 at one point. We lost the game 5-3, which means that we scored 3 unanswered goals. And for those 3 goals, I felt like at that point, Philadelphia had a better standing in the game, I'll say. They seemed to have their feet under them. So on the tail end of that game, it felt like Philadelphia was fighting a little more, which is good and endearing when it comes to playing them again next week. But only 2 games this week. Hoping to continue the trend of beating the Islanders and then just continue to win more games. I think Ottawa should be a pretty decent game as well. But that is that. Moving on to something else. It is Thursday, and what we know about Thursday is that it's time for Overwatch League. Matches as usual run Thursday through Saturday. And the Fusion only have 1 match this week. They are up against the Las Vegas Valiant. That's a weird name. But I kind of get it. All names aside, though, very, very excited, as I usually am. I think Overwatch is a very underrated sport. People usually brush it off because they're like, oh, esports gaming. It's fun. It's really fun to watch. So I'm excited. The Fusion were able to win last week against Washington, which is real good. They are 3-2. So last week they were obviously able to bounce back from an 0-2 week where they lost to the Fuel and the Mayhem. But I hope that it was only because of a sick boombox that they struggled in week 2. Week 3, they still were without Boombox, but they were able to pull out the win. And finally, for week 4, Boombox is back. So the Fusion will be playing at full strength, and it's gonna be fun. It always is. I love talking about the Fusion. I love talking about Carpe because he's so full of BM. He's always trash talking, and he's insanely good. And I think it's gonna be real fun going into the end of the stage and getting into stage playoffs. So, like I said, it's going to be tonight, Thursday at 10 o'clock. So, if you're listening to this beforehand, go and check it out. And if you're listening to it afterwards, I hope the Fusion won. That's always good to hear. Always love winning for Philadelphia. And a team that needs to start doing that is the Union. They, I think historically they are not Philadelphia's best team. I mean they're one of the newest teams. I think Fusion beats them out, or maybe the Wings. Do the Wings technically count? No, they don't. But the Union are one of Philadelphia's newest teams, and I admittedly they felt underwhelming the whole time. I always felt like there were supposed to be some big things happening. There were a few big names like Freddie Adu. You remember when Freddie Adu was like 14 and was playing professional somewhere. It was probably like some B League or whatever, but was playing professional soccer and everyone was losing their mind. And then he came to Philadelphia and did absolutely nothing. Yeah, me too. But the Fusion did lose last week. They lost 3-1 to Toronto. Upsetting part is that it was the season opener and the home opener. So Fusion are starting the climb early. I'll say they are. They're gonna make us really fight for this season, which is fine. That's the way Philadelphia does things. Coming up this week, we are going to be playing against Sporting Kansas City. That's an interesting name. We're going to be away. But I think this team could do a lot better. I think a lot of the MLS teams could do a lot better. I'll say it. The MLS is not as premier as the Premier League, but it is really fun. I love the feel of that European sports feel brought over into the U.S. I believe I said that last week too. But yeah, I do really like the Union. I really hope for the best for the Union, and I know Fabian is looking to continue his trend of doing well. I mean, I know it was still a loss, but in his first game, Marco Fabian, he scored his first goal for the Union, which is great. I love it. Because I mean, it shows he's out there to play. It shows he is ready to get some strikes in. It's gonna be fun to watch the rest of this season. It always is with the Union. Sometimes they're really good, sometimes they're really bad. But I just I can't stop loving it. I don't know. But anyway, we still have more sports to talk about, like the AFL. The Soul are still getting back into things. I know they were talking about how they just assigned their top wide receiver in I believe his name was Money Rodriguez or something like that. I'll get back at you with that. But the Soul are getting ready to start their season. I know I am extremely excited. The heart and soul of Philadelphia. Money Reynolds was the name of the wide receiver. He is all set and back to play in the 2019 Arena Football League. We also have our dude at center, Dan Rodabo. I gotta make sure that I know all of the pronunciations of this team. But no, very excited to get Soul Football back. Arena football games, just like Union games, are a different feel. I've been to a few back when they were like insanely good, back in like 2008, 2009. Um, but yeah, it's a different feel, but it is absolutely a fun time. It's all the fun of football, except sped up and inside. I don't know what's not to love about it. So be on the lookout for when the Soul start their season, but for right now, still in the off season. Just like the Eagles, who have made a few signings. I know I saw that they have Brandon Graham back for 3 more years. I believe his contract was extended, so that is great for them. I think this team is just like last season, looking very ready to get back to playing and get back into the playoff mindset. One of the biggest factors I've said since last season is going to be keeping Carson Wentz healthy. In my eyes, he is very injury prone. And for my controversial statement of the week, I think we should have traded him. I think we should have kept Nick Foles, traded Carson Wentz, and gotten some real good wide receivers out there. Maybe someone like Antonio Brown. Like just we could get Antonio Brown, have him on the team. That'd be real cool. That'd be a fun time. Antonio Brown for Carson Wentz, and a case of root beer. I don't know. If they felt like they still owed a little bit for Carson Wentz, but no, this team's gonna be fun to watch. They always are. So it's just gonna be interesting to see how Carson Wentz does and what happens when he inevitably gets hurt again. I hope he doesn't. I hope his knees are okay. I hope his shoulders and his throwing arms are all perfect. Because if he could pull a season together like the 2017 season, then I think this team is set to be a new dynasty. I'll say that. This team absolutely has the possibility of being just one of the best teams in the NFL for a few years, which is real cool. I want to say that they could be like the next I'm blanking on the name. They could be the next Patriots. I don't know why I couldn't think of the Patriots, but no one's going to be the Patriots. We all hate them. We don't want to admit it, but it is honestly the truth. So there is that. But we have one last sport to get to, and that is your Philadelphia Wings. Lacrosse is back in Philadelphia. I mean that both in the fact that this is their year returning back, and also because it is coming back from a 2-week break. We have the Buffalo Bandits. This team also full of busters. Like I've said before, my brother Kevin, he's been on the podcast before. Check out the old episodes. But he has season tickets, so I was lucky enough to go down to the first game for Philadelphia, in which we played the Buffalo Bandits and lost. I believe, um, which was not fun. But we have a chance to get a little bit of redemption. I remember when I was there, his seats are very nice, so I'm almost able to yell directly at a player, and the atmosphere too is not as grand as like a Flyers game. So if you yell something, it's audible. So I'm pretty much able to yell at the other team, and Trevor Baptiste is just going off in the face-off circle, winning everything. And one of the dudes on the other team, you know he loses the face-off. They run down, and Wings score a goal. So he comes up, and I'm screaming, "That's on you! That one's on you!" And then with later in the game, he loses another face-off, and then the reverse happens. The Bandits go down and they score against the Wings. And I'm like, oh man, must feel pretty good to have something good happen. I mean, besides the fact that you suck in the circle. And he gave me a look and he was like, oh, brah, 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 brah. Then come the end of the game, Bandits end up winning. And I was like, yeah, I mean, you still lost every face-off. And he turns around and he just points out his sweater at the Bandits logo. And I'm like, yeah, good response. So the team's full of busters. Almost all teams are, besides the Philadelphia Wings, of course. Last time we got to see them in action in Philadelphia was 3 weeks ago. On Saturday, we played against New England, and we won at home, lost away though. But at home, we were able to see Matt Rambo, my fellow Abington alum. Shout-outs to him. We got to see him score a hat trick, and would love to see him score another one on Friday, Fortnite Friday, or even see the big cat, Kevin Crowley, do his thing and rip a few really, really nice shots. But as always, I'm very excited for the Wings, as you should be too. I'm very excited for the next week for all of Philadelphia. It's gonna be a fun time coming up. We're getting close to playoffs. We're getting close to the nitty-gritty in some seasons, and we're getting close to the start of some seasons. So, with all that being said, thank you so much for listening to the Orange Line, Philadelphia's 8 for 8 sports podcast, the only one. I have been your host, Dr. PhD. If you want to, feel free to follow me on social media. It is going to be at Dr. PhD, DocterPhD. Feel free to go there. I have plenty of tweets. I usually live tweet whatever event I'm watching. And I know I've been saying this for a couple of weeks, but I am finally getting together to start a wrestling podcast. So if you're interested in that, it is on its way. I believe I'm going to start either before or after the event WrestleMania. So like I said, be on the lookout. But as always, thank you for listening. I've been your host. It has been such a pleasure to talk to all of you, and I will see you next time.